So, Mega Man's finally gotten out of his bed at last, has he? For those who haven't brushed up on their gaming culture, Mega Man is the brainchild of Akira Kitamura and Keiji Inafune, a series that was pretty much the Call of Duty of its time. I mean, this franchise has been milked to death. There's the classic series, the X series, Zero, ZX, Legends, Battle Network, Star Force. Okay, I'm gonna stop now before my editing software has a cardiac arrest. And then they just decided to stop making them. Mega Man has had it rough for the majority of the last decade, various cancellations and poor PR being the crux of this issue. Keiji Inafune, being equally frustrated with Capcom at the time, decided enough was enough. If they weren't going to give fans the Mega Man game that they wanted, then he would be the beacon to bring them all together, and well, he did just that, for better or for worse. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that had it not been for Mighty No. 9's astronomical funding success and its eventual downfall, Mega Man 11 may have never become a thing. Rest assured, Mega Man fans, Beck may have let you down, but by supporting Inafune in his creative endeavours, you showed the folks at Capcom that the market for old school platformers is not just vast, but alive and passionate. All we can do now is hope that the Blue Bomber can fill in the void that his successor couldn't. Time to rock and roll. Mega Man 11 begins with a brief flashback of Dr. Wily and Dr. Light's college days. Dr. Wily invented something called the double gear system, a device that grants robots a tremendous increase in power and mobility. The only problem is that it could be potentially damaging to the user. Knowing this, the committee decides to go with Dr. Light's proposal of robots with independent thought instead. A decision that definitely won't bite them in the ass, say, 100 years from now. In present day XX, Mega Man and Co are doing maintenance when Dr. Wily bursts in to steal this game's designated robot masters. Dr. Light installs the double gear system into Mega Man with his insistence to gain the edge on Wily. Dr. Light does attempt to reconcile with Wily at the end of the game, but by that point their damage has already been done. The story is a lot more nuanced than I expected it to be, granted for Mega Man standards that isn't saying much, but it does what it needs to do and gets to the point, so I've got no complaints here. I do feel kinda bad for Wily though, poor guy just wants robots to be respected and this is the thanks he gets. Mind you, he did create the Sigma virus, so I'm not going to shed too many tears for him. For the purposes of this review, I played the game on normal. I'm no expert, but I have played all 10 of the previous entries before this, so I'm very much prepared.
Are you sure?
Now if you've played a Mega Man game before this is very much the same pair of slippers you've been wearing for quite a while now. There are 8 robot masters, they have their own weakness chain, you can jump, you can shoot, and you can even jump and shoot at the same time. Ooh, fancy that. Mega Man's general movement is the best it's ever been to me. It's a lot tighter and definitely a lot less slippery compared to previous entries. New to the series is of course the double gear system. Power gear allows you to juice up your buster shot, not so good starting off granted, but once you get your sub-weapons, that's when the real fun begins. Speed gear on the other hand allows you to slow the action down, pretty self-explanatory. Using these abilities too often for too long will cause them to become unusable for a brief time. When your health gets low, you can tap both shoulder buttons to use both gears for one last final hurrah. Be warned though, if you overheat in this phase, then you won't be able to charge your buster. Rush has now been given his own button commands, making for much smoother traversal, very nice to see. What's also nice to see are these graphics. Thank God that we're no longer confined to the limitations of 8-bit just for the sake of being artistic. Mega Man 9 was arguably the pioneer of retro revivals, so I'm not knocking it, it's still my favourite in the franchise. But my god, after so many games trying to cash in on the candy-coated nostalgic visuals of the past, it is so good to get a game like this. Mega Man 11 is beautiful and brimming with detail, but not enough to distract you from the action. The improved production values also means that the Robot Masters have been given more personality through voice acting and more expressive animations, very much like Mega Man powered up for the PSP. A very underrated remake and one that you should definitely check out, trust me, it's amazing. The weapons here are fantastic, in line with some of the best in the series. Torch Man's weapon may not have the best reach, but it can tear through enemies like a hot knife through butter. I also got a kick out of Bounce Man's weapon. It shoots out 3 balls that ricochet off walls, great for tight spaces. The main issue I had with most of these levels is that they tended to go on just a bit too long for my liking. With so many instant kill obstacles, mini bosses and very few checkpoints separating them, I lost my temper quite a few times when playing this game. Mega Man games have always been hard, yes, I understand this, but at the same time I feel like a lot of the reason why previous games got away with it is because the levels are short, thus redoing shit wasn't as tedious. I hate these chase sequences with every fibre of my being. The platforming in this section is so tight, and I don't mean like hard, no, I mean like literally tight. Look how much space they give me here. Enemies are constantly getting in the way of your jumps. I can take that. What I can't deal with is being stunned for what feels like more than 3 seconds before I can move again. It breaks the flow of the game, and in Torchman's case, it makes me want to cry a little inside. I know for a fact that they did this on purpose just because Auto Shop has an upgrade for this very issue. Isn't that just peachy? Musically speaking, it's pretty good. Not all of the tracks are winners, but I feel like that has more to do with preference. The tracks here are more techno as opposed to the chiptune style that Mega Man music is usually known for. I wasn't digging these pieces at first, but they gradually grew on me over time. Fuse Man is pretty great, and especially Blast Man, that is some good shit. The bosses on the other hand I thought were great fun, some of the best in the classic series in fact. Not only did their attack patterns feel much more bombastic compared to previous games, but they themselves also have access to the double gear system. I love that idea of using your own abilities against you, it's so thematic and cool. At the end of the day though, they are still just a stack of dominoes waiting to be knocked down, but there's definitely more of a struggle here. Having played this game blind with no knowledge of weaknesses, I can safely say that you can easily get away with fighting Tundra Man, Bounce Man and Block Man as your first Robot Master. That's coming from the perspective of someone who is terrible at Mega Man. Through effective use of the double gear system, I really don't see any Robot Master being flat out impossible to beat on your first go, except Acid Man perhaps. Mega Man 11 also allows you to test your weapon after every stage, giving you a better idea on when would be the best situation to use it. If you're looking to get the most out of Mega Man 11, there are a handful of challenges a la Legacy Collection. Again, I suck at Mega Man games, so I don't really bother much with this. Other than that, there's achievements and the gallery, but that's really it. Compared to Mega Man 10, which not only had an extra stage, but also multiple playable characters, Mega Man 11 feels very lacking in this department. Can I recommend Mega Man 11 as your first Mega Man game? Sure I can. I'm not going to beat around the bush when I say I feel like the Legacy Collections combined offer you more than this game. Graphics and double gear system aside, it really doesn't do anything new for the franchise, but as Mega Man's first foray after a leave of absence, it's perfectly fine. Great even. Rest easy guys, Mega Man's in good hands, and I'm very much looking forward to what comes next for the Blue Bomber in his fight for everlasting peace. Mega Man 12, X9, who knows, maybe even Legends 3, eh? Wink wink. Vote with your wallet folks, Mega Man is back and in good health, so let's keep it that way.